No.
Okay. Hold
right.
on a sec.
Hold
We'll give
on.
it a second.
Shane did a bad thing. He was chatting.
That's all right. Hello, everyone. Maybe as you start coming on in on Substack, we'll see you here in a moment. We'll just meander our words for a second here. Shane, how are you today, brother? As we just wait
I'm
on
good.
Substack Connect. And there we are. We're live on Substack. Hey, what's up, y'all? Smash
Good
that heart as you start
morning.
coming on
Good
in.
afternoon.
Good afternoon. Good day. Shane, how are you, dude?
I'm good. It's Monday. I got some good sleep last night. I went to sleep at like 9, which is really good for me. I happen to be a chronic insomniac, so it's always good to go to sleep and wake up. Nick was my alarm this morning. That's always a great way to
I
start.
apologize about that, dude. I forgot you were 2 hours behind me.
It's
And
all
I
good.
called you and I was like, shit, it is so early there for him. What am I doing?
It's all good, bro, because I was like, I had my alarm set for 10 minutes later, and I was like, okay, I guess I'll just watch some memes. I watched a honey badger fight an elephant. Um,
Nice.
Dude, this honey badger got kicked by this elephant like 3 times, and it kept coming back. Elephants trying to run away. The last thing, like, I would have paid so much money to be on this safari because this honey badger is coming at it, trying to bite this elephant's heels. It turned around and it punted that right out of the frame. I mean, across the watering hole, gone. I was like, honey badgers are scary, man. Like, honey badgers, they don't go around.
Honey Badger don't give a fuck. Honey Badger don't give a
That
fuck.
video is like
They are the
videos.
they're like they should be our spirit animal right now. Like
Absolutely.
if you have a spirit animal right now, it needs to be the honey badger. Because
Absolutely.
those things can get bit by poisonous snakes. Those things will fucking get stomped on by an elephant. Those things will get bit by lions. They'll go take a nap and they'll come back and fuck them up.
Yeah, they
They'll
will.
grab that snake that bit them and they'll bite its fucking head off.
Yeah,
That's
well,
what honey badgers are. They don't give a fuck. We all need to be honey badgers right now because
what I'm
today,
saying.
Palantalk is all about those robber barons robbing us blind.
That's right.
And so we've got a show in for you today. I'm going to hand it over to Shane here to get into the discussion. But yeah, resilient little bastards is right, Evan. We got our friend Evan Fields in the chat. Everyone,
Going on,
if you
Evan.
don't support Evan, go follow him. He's incredible. He's a good dude, doing a lot of really cool stuff. He's a friend and supporter and contributor with Banner and Backbone. He's got that little tag next to him for us. So everyone come support my boy Evan. He's awesome. Come support Shane and I, support Banner and Backbone as we start coming on in. Hit that heart button if you're here on Substack, if you're watching us on YouTube or Twitch. What's up, guys? Glad to see all of y'all here with us. Shane, take it away, my friend. We got some robber barons robbing us blind, and we
Yeah,
need to talk about them because, well, are they robber barons or are they pedo barons?
they're both. They rob children of their innocence, and they also rob us of our economic mobility. And I'll be the first to say I was putting this together, a little bit before the show. So we're going to experience these things and kind of react to this information. I know a lot about these guys in general, and a lot of my suspicions about Elon Musk being a trillionaire and, wanting to kind of set that record straight, because I don't think you get to be a trillionaire if you're carrying debt. I don't think that counts. I think we need to subtract that. Your capital position and your actual position are not the same thing. I think that, to your point, these guys suck. They're super lame. They're losers, and they think they're cool because they have a bunch of arbitrary dollars. That I don't know. You don't need that money, right? So let's talk a little bit about Elon Musk. We'll talk about Peter Thiel and his flight from the United States to the Nazi capital of post-World War II, and go and hang out with Elon's buddy, Millet, who's having a great time, as his people are very displeased with his curtailing of their rights. And we'll talk about Bezos a little bit because he just detonated a nuclear rocket over the United States, which is, I'm sure, a very good use of capital, big investment there to have blowing up. These guys are just thriving. I want to talk about how well they're doing. They're having such a good time. And I get to say that with sarcasm, and it makes me smile a little bit to know that they are not having a good time. And so let's talk a little bit about this. I'll kind of read a summary here. Nick, if anything kind of pops out to you, you want to say, please interrupt here and just kind of we'll go through this together. Because I've been busy reading about this new peace deal in the Middle East. So I've been a little bit distracted. So I have something for you guys later today.
Peace deal? You mean giveaway? You mean a giveaway of our wealth and murdering children and raising prices on everything and ruining our image around the world at the same time, just to give away a generation's worth of our wealth to rebuild something that we didn't need to?
Yeah,
we never needed to bomb. Yeah, we sounds so America first to me.
Absolutely. Fucking no wars. Hashtag
no wars.
No wars.
Hashtag no, comma, more wars.
Yes, that's right. No comma, more. Punctuation was never their strong suit.
Yeah, punctuation matters, and we figured theirs out.
Yeah, well, they've also been, curtailing education so that they can add a comma, and no one will even know. It can be either way. Speaking of idiots, let's talk about 3 idiots today. We're going to talk about Elon Musk, Peter Thiel, and Jeff Bezos. There's plenty to pick. We could have picked Alex Karp or, Zuckerberg or, any of these people. But instead, I picked these 3. So Musk has reached a net worth near 700 to 722 billion and crossed 1 trillion on IPO day for SpaceX. But this is almost entirely driven by illiquid private or newly public assets. The SpaceX XAI merger announced on February 2nd, 2026 was not an AI in space ambition synergy story. This was most certainly a rescue of his balance sheet. XAI was quite literally on fire because, I don't know, maybe your AI declared itself was Mecha Hitler. Not really good for business.
And produces child porn.
Yeah, it's being sued across Europe for making child porn.
Did you see that giant Elon Musk thing that happened in Times Square where it was just XAI produces child porn was basically what it said across it in fucking Times Square? Huge, just ugly ass man titty Elon hanging out with his fucking just gross ass, nobody likes him body and his sadness because he's a sad human being.
He's so
there is something wrong with him. I don't know what it is specifically, but there's something, because that much money corrupts you and changes you as a human being. Like, I don't know what it is. I don't have that much money.
For me, I think it's the second you realize that you're not accountable to anyone. I think Jeff Bezos is the example here because his wife was really cool. So like she wouldn't have married and started a business with this guy who's such a piece of shit. Like there's some moment you realize maybe they sit you down in a room with a cigar and say, hey, buddy, welcome to the No Accountability Club. You can do anything you want now. And then probably they sit with it for a while and then they say, fuck it. And then once you step over that line, there's no going back.
Yeah, and like Mackenzie Scott is a good person, as far as I know. I mean, she donates millions and millions to people. She gives her money away, like you should when you have that much fucking wealth, because she keeps having that much wealth. It's not like her giving away is making her poorer. It's helping her. Like she reaps a reward for it, and that's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
And Elon, you and Zuckerberg and Thiel and Bezos, y'all would be a lot happier if you gave some of your money away because it would actually make you fucking feel good.
No one's
And
gonna throw a
no,
Molotov cocktail at your house if you.
yeah, and people might not throw Molotov cocktails at your house, or you might not have people who shoot you in the street for making policy that kills people as a healthcare company.
Yeah.
Or health denial company, I guess.
That's exactly.
Because that's what they do, is they don't do health insurance, they do health denial.
Absolutely.
Anyway, we're going to get off topic on that too much.
No,
And
I think that was
do want to make sure for the record, it was a good comment. Courtney in our chat is her dislike of him has nothing to do with his body. For the record, my dislike of him has nothing to do with his body either. It's just an easy target for me because I mean, he's a piece of shit. He looks like a giant testicle. Like literally what he looks like is just a testicle. Have you ever seen a walking testicle? It's him. The penis is Stephen Miller, and the other ball sack is probably fucking Jeff Bezos's head.
Yeah, for sure. It's like a peanut M&M body type, except it's a testicle. That's kind of how you should think of Elon.
Yeah, it's the testy body type. Yeah. He's more on the like chode side. He's almost as fat as he is short. So like he's Mike? More like, yeah, he's a choder, and that's okay. You do you, boo, but give some money away. Maybe we'll hate you less.
Actually, I think
be less of a Nazi. We'll hate you less.
The second he killed 9.2 million people by cutting USA, he kind of just became one of the worst people in the history of humanity. So he single-handedly managed to give the Holocaust a run for its money. 5 years, 9.2 million people. That is, to say the least, one of the greatest crimes against humanity in the history of ever, I can think, particularly because he did it to people in Africa, because he hates black people, because he's an apartheid kid.
People have to remember he's from South Africa. Like his father was kicked out. I think it was his dad who was kicked out of Canada for being too extreme, then went to South Africa because they accepted him. And he learned apartheid South African policy, and he's a racist, and he is a bigot, and he does not like black people. He does not like people from Africa. And you can tell because he intentionally is killing them.
Yeah.
He is not shooting them, or he is not pulling the trigger, but he pulled the monetary trigger. He pulled the real trigger that will kill them.
Starvation. They're going to starve. That's what
and he's a Nazi.
And he's a Nazi.
And he would have been a slave owner. He would have, and bringing it back to like America and robber barons robbing us blind, he would have been a slave owner. So would have all of these folks. All of them would have been okay with slavery because it would have made them money.
Yeah. And that's crazy because he's the richest man in the world. I'm going to put air quotes here, though, because we're going to talk about how he's not the richest man in the world. He probably is the man carrying the most debt in the world, though. I would be willing to bet that. Now, I can't say that for certain, but I think it's pretty good bet. If you're the richest billionaire in the world, I think we really misattribute how money works, at least because I think it's changed so much in the last 20 years as they've just broken the financial system to get richer and richer and richer and richer. So, let's talk about a little bit. The merger itself was huge. Now he's a trillionaire because supposedly the valuation of SpaceX after acquiring these things. But why? XAI was literally in the hole, was looking at $6.36 billion in losses in 2025, no self-sustaining cash flow. And it was merged into SpaceX's profitable aerospace and Starlink base. So basically, they just had to eat it. They just needed a more profitable company to eat it so that they could handle the debt. Otherwise, he would have had to basically file for bankruptcy or something else. So he just took, and he's done this before with Tesla and other things. He does the companies that he didn't buy. I know SpaceX he started, but Tesla he's used a couple times to eat some of this debt. It's not unusual for them to do this. But after the merger, it became the single largest asset at $2.1 trillion. So Tesla's core businesses just posted 2 straight years of decline. So even Tesla's going down because he's such a piece of shit. People are not buying his vehicles, even though other than the Cybertruck, they're good cars. Like, they are actually good cars. I don't know. Like, personally, I bought one before he was a fascist. I love that thing. It's a great car. It saves me money because it was designed by people that aren't Elon Musk, crazily enough. So, you know, now Twitter has not recovered even after its posting. It's not recovered. It was 44 billion. It is no longer that. SpaceX is literally the only profitable entity that Elon Musk has left. So whenever you think of Elon Musk and all of his businesses, he's pretty much on the Trump path to being a professional bankrupter. That's pretty much what's going on. Let's talk about Peter Thiel. Peter Thiel is physically relocating his assets and family to Buenos Aires. Yes, this is a pattern we've seen a couple times, you know, when these very wealthy people are feeling vulnerable, they go to one of these South American countries where it's pretty easy to, you know, disappear. It's kind of crazy to me, though, that you would go to, you know, Argentina, because they might just, I feel like you're more likely to get fucking killed there than if you go to, like, you know, I don't know, maybe Milei is just going to provide the army to protect him or some shit, probably, like, you know, but pretty wild that he is running away from the United States. You know, his primary wealth vehicle, Palantir, you know, it's almost entirely dependent on the United States government. So if the United States government decides to cancel its contracts with Palantir, which it most certainly will after the midterms, and the people should be given a right to speak and their voice heard. And we will certainly take Congress unless they manipulate and just, you know, pretty much annihilate the Constitution and steal our election. There is a lot of important things to think about when we're talking about that vote. I won't go into it too much, but I recommend that everyone looks into the Electoral College and just how fucked up that is, and how we probably should deal with that in the future as well. It does put us at a disadvantage, but, you know, so he's running away. And Jeff Bezos, you know, he's probably in the best spot, but he had a pretty big embarrassment. His Blue Origin rocket blew up, and it was quite the spectacle. Ironically, it coincided with, like, this meteor, like, entering the atmosphere and then creating a sonic boom. So people were like, synchronicity is weird. And people were like freaking out because you had, like, down in the southeast and then up in the northeast, you had these two sonic booms, and everyone's like, but, you know, it's a weird world out there, folks. Things are happening that are strange, you know, but he's been diversifying out of Amazon, and he is pretty minimalistic. So, I mean, Amazon, unfortunately, people just keep going back. I get it. It's easy. It's convenient. But it's certainly hurting. I will tell you this much, like, from an internal perspective, Amazon is doing a lot of things that, you know, people who are on the seller side and things like that are starting to eat a lot more costs, profitability there. So, you know, even as he does better, the businesses suffer, and ultimately, like, that hurts, you know, the economy, inflation, and whatnot. So, basically what we're seeing is that the biggest thing with all of these guys' exposure is that the AI build out is really hitting a big stall here. Our power grid can't support it. Half of those data centers that we talked about before are not being built. The Department of Energy invoked emergency grid powers in 2026. And so basically they are trying to figure out how to deal with this massive energy capacity. They're creating all of these crises simultaneously. And eventually, you know, if they turn off people's power, you know, people will start to freak out, understandably so. So, you know, I think that just off that summary, it doesn't seem like a time where they're feeling really good about things, you know, especially Peter Thiel leaving the country. I think that should, I don't know. How does that, what comes to mind when you see that he's literally fleeing to Argentina?
Well, it seems like the Nazis are going back to where they last fled to. So get them gone. I mean, It sucks for Argentina. Like, I feel really bad for the people of Argentina. They don't want to live under Nazi oppression either. Like, I feel very bad for Argentinians. They shouldn't have to suffer through these human beings. And it's not a solution in the end. Like, no matter what, him fleeing the US is not a solution. The solution is these people need to be imprisoned and stripped of all their assets, and their companies need to be nationalized and torn apart. Except for maybe SpaceX. SpaceX itself, the rocket components of SpaceX, that could be kept. We could nationalize that and consume it into NASA. We already have a program, the National Aeronautics and Space Agency. We have NASA. Like, we can
to the moon.
We can do that.
The ISS. Like, I was watching so we had a space shuttle that flew like over 30 flights, maintained the Hubble telescope, fixed things in orbit, fixed the ISS. Why we haven't made any new spacesuits since the original spacewalks? Like, can someone explain to me how we have all of this money and tech, but we can't make another space shuttle? We can't get
because we gave it to Elon Musk.
Because it's all their money, because of them, right? I feel like it's because they suck and they're stupid and they can't actually make anything functional. And we should be back. Like, there's no reason that we should be still okay, I'm not going to undermine the mission that was Artemis, okay? But that mission was a disaster. It almost killed everyone on board. And they got a picture with a Nikon from the other side of the moon. Like, we just saw a interstellar object fly through TRAPPIST, a interstellar object. We've captured things with the Mars rover, right? The Mars rover. Why can't we get another rover on Mars? Why can't we get a rover on the moon? It's because they privatized everything and they suck. I don't see another way. So, it's just wild to me, looking at all this stuff.
Sorry, I was muted there, but yeah, it is wild. It's wild. Like, look, the physically relocating assets and family to Buenos Aires for Peter Thiel, like, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
That means they either see this is about to fall,
yeah,
or, which is the more likely scenario. Like, that's what my most likely idea, or my hypothesis on this is: they are ready. They're seeing it about to fall. They know that everything is about to come apart, to unravel on them, because they are seeing the discontent. They are hearing what is going on behind the scenes that we might not even hear about. And with the revelations that should have come out months and months and months ago of the cover-ups in the White House and JD Vance and the leaks there, those are going, and JD Vance is highly unpopular too, who is Thiel's chosen candidate. Which is, I think, again, one of the reasons why he is fleeing, is because his chosen candidate and the chosen technocratic candidate cannot win, will not be able to win. And they know that. And they know that unless they cheat and win in the next few months, they will not win. And they will be brought up on charges for treason, for humanitarian disasters and international humanitarian crises, like being the purpose that, or being the reason that 600,000 children so far, maybe, or people have died because of starvation is the estimated, or whatever, or even if it's half that, like,
well, it was 5 years, basically. So 9.2 million in 5 years.
But but over this past year, I think they said that at least 600,000 people have died of starvation, most of them children.
Absolutely.
Because of the choice to cut USAID, Doge, and these implementations that these 3+, so Musk, Thiel, Bezos, and 4 with Zuckerberg in there, have implemented to make themselves wealthy while policy-wise killing people.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So let's get back though into Elon Musk
Yeah, there's
and
a lot
more
to
on the
talk about
SpaceX
here.
stuff, because I think that's a really important one. Yes, with Peter Thiel is super important. Obviously, our show is called Palantalk, and maybe we'll dedicate next week to just talk more about him. But let's focus maybe for today as much as we can on Elon Musk, because he's everybody's favorite person to hate.
He's a
Um,
techno-fascist. Like he fits in. He's so like all these people I would consider to be techno-fascists. So like, Peter Thiel is maybe, probably the most, um, I don't know, actually, I don't want to say he's the most idyllically aligned. Um,
Ideologically,
there you go. Ideologically aligned with techno-fascism, but I mean, they are certainly all involved. I mean, I think the entire techno-fascist dynamic is entering its extinction burst phase, right? So I think that we're seeing a lot of this happening in real time. I know since the beginning, this show and before, me and Nick have been saying, like, eventually they will fail. Like, it is a matter of time. And so like we got to experience the worst part, and it probably will get worse before the end, but like there's things happening, and a lot of things they probably didn't anticipate happening. And so they're doing pretty crazy things like the thing Elon Musk is doing. So in 2025, Musk's net worth had gone down to approximately $357 billion. Poor man, am I right? Oh, poor fucking guy. Down from post-election, which was much higher at the time. This was basically all the Doge thing, right? This is when he was killing all those people and people were burning Teslas, and the Tesla takedown was going on. And basically when he nuked his public perception from being this like entrepreneurial EV guy, and he let everyone kind of see what kind of person he was, and people didn't like it. Right. So, in its second straight year of revenue and profit decline was 2025. The full year net income was only 3.8 billion on 94.8 billion in revenue, right? So that's down 3% in terms of income, and then 61% total, respectively, right? So that's a huge loss on total in revenue. Just like I can't even begin to describe how devastating that is. That's like that he was crying he was definitely crying and throwing tantrums and, acting like a little petulant man child, maybe yelling at Grok saying, tell me my mecha penis is big, it's just a fucking pathetic testicle man. So, Twitter, which he acquired in 2022, has literally never recovered in its value, because it's toxic now, and it really is just full of bots.
and
So
I'll say this from what I remember of all the purchase of Twitter too is I think it was very obvious to everyone when he bought it that he was never buying it to make money off of it. He was only buying it to corrupt it.
yeah,
Just to interject that. Yeah, because that was the whole point of it, was to corrupt Twitter and turn it into the 4chan and 8chan that they always wanted. And he did that.
yeah.
So I think using that as also a note on the Twitter side is he bought that knowing he was never going to make money there.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he knew he was going to lose money. And it is a shame because it was one of the biggest pieces of media consolidation for public square. Yeah, he bought himself the public square.
Yes.
And then let all the racists in.
Yep. And he created the racists. They weren't there at scale. He made bots. Like, just to give you guys an example, so there's been a huge thing that's happened in marketing recently. Happened out of nowhere. In about 6 months, all internet purchase traffic, things like that, have pretty much been dominated by AI. And to be short with it, it's totally upended the marketing world, because now everyone needs to reevaluate how they're running things to target AI search, not person search. And I think in all of this too, we're going to see whiplash with all this stuff. I think, particularly when all this kind of fails, and they realize they need people to do jobs. But just a good example of how screwed they are, because Elon is like the poster child of sucking at being a billionaire. He literally is really bad at it. And he just has so much money because he was lucky with the PayPal and Facebook, sale, that he invested in the right things in the beginning, and he made a lot of money. But as he's become more wealthy and powerful, he has invested that money, kind of shrouded in his invincibility, I think, that he feels, to do some pretty dumb stuff. So in 2025, XAI had approximately 6.36 billion. We said that in losses, no revenue, zero, to match its 200 to 230 billion private valuation. So they just are bleeding money, literally bleeding money. And its models suck, right? So it's just a hole in the ground. It's 200 to 230 billion dollars of investment from all of his private buddies and whatnot to basically nothing. Okay, so let's just go ahead and say, number one, he's looking at 200 billion. Let's go on the low end to be conservative. $200 billion in a ball and chain on his foot. Okay, so first of all, that's not looking too good for him. Now SpaceX, now it makes sense, covers that loss, just makes it go away. So as long as SpaceX owns is part of XAI, or XAI is part of SpaceX, it gets to be swept under the books. So any debt that XAI has can be absorbed by SpaceX, and it really saves him the public image of failing, and helps him avoid having to pay back a bunch of money that he owes, because I'm sure they borrowed a lot. XAI's losses, that's kind of what I said. They went to the SpaceX book. And overnight, Elon got 84 billion to 100 billion in the reevaluation of, again, like his value, I guess. But like at the same time, that's not even half. At best, it's half of the black hole of money. And again, the private valuation at 200 billion doesn't even begin to cover how much can they borrow at 200 billion, right? They're putting up collateral. They're saying, yeah, we have X. We want to borrow 100 billion. We're worth 200 billion. Okay, so we don't even know. It's private. They have not disclosed how much they fucking owe. We have no idea. And the Guardian, their financial commenter, they said that the merger with loss-making XAI looks to some investors more like a bailout than a rocket trip to the future. And that puts minority shareholders in SpaceX. That hurts them. Basically, he's made a unilateral decision to impose hardship on his other businesses by bailing him out. And I'm sure his calculus is, I have the government to give me money in SpaceX, so I'm just going to rob the American people by, taking public contract money to offset my failures as a business person, entrepreneur, have it, So, I mean, Tesla is actually losing money. His Tesla-driven net worth dropped 50 billion after all the people invested in Tesla went to SpaceX. But I will say that I don't really think people really invest anymore. I think it's just hedge funds pretending to be people. I don't think people invest in the markets. I'd say that, like, this is just me like talking, but I would say probably in the realm of maybe 10 to 20% of people is actually you, me, people in this chat investing, maybe less. And the rest of the market is probably hedge funds. I would say I just have I have a lot of doubt as to if any of this money is any more than him calling his buddy and saying, hey, I need you to dump this hedge fund into SpaceX so we can get the IPO valuation up to this, and then I'll borrow $15 billion and I'll give it to you. Okay, cool.
Yeah, and Jack, our friend Jack is putting a good comment in the chat. Is people do invest. It's our 401k or 403b for retirement that is being invested by these companies.
Correct.
To then reinvest and repurchase their own assets. So if you have a 401k, and I'm not a financial advisor, I am not a financial advisor. I'll say that again. I am not a financial advisor. This is not advice for financial security in any way, shape, or form. I'm not a financial advisor. I did this personally because I didn't want my money being invested into horrible, horrible things. So I withdrew my 401k. I took the 10% penalty for early withdrawal so that I could ensure that my money was not being invested in crimes, in criminal activity, in murdering people, in these companies. And it may be the smart financial choice to withdraw your money now.
Yeah.
Before you lose it. And imagine if we all withdrew our money. Everybody withdrew their pensions. You know how much money that would take from these fucking assholes overnight?
Yeah.
Billions.
Yeah.
It would tank the stock market. And you know what? The stock market's not a good indicator of the economy. Never has been, never will be. And if you feel like it's the right thing to do and you feel like you need to take your money out so that you are not morally part of these crimes, withdraw.
Yeah.
Protect your money. Protect your money. And again, not a financial advisor. I am not telling you this as a piece of financial security or advice. I'm just saying on an action level, one form of protest is all of us take our retirements out.
Yeah.
They will lose billions. And the chaos it would cause for them would be opportunity for us.
Yep. No, I
and it's peaceful resistance. It's peaceful resistance.
Let's put it this way. The capital class has captured the government. They're the same thing. Okay. So if you to impact the government, you can also impact the capital class. They're now the same thing. And, I think that there is a great deal of, to honor, I do want to honor that comment and say, when I say like the hedge fund or whatever, it's the retirement funds that you put your money into. They take the phone call. They put your retirement into SpaceX. That really is how things are. And that's not a free market. That's a captured market. You are your investment is captured and it's being reallocated at will. And that's, to the point, people will lose everything. They will, because Elon Musk is just covering up his debt. The United States government will eventually nationalize the rocket program and use it to do things of value and discover and create and push the horizons of what we understand about our solar system and our universe, because that is the purpose of NASA, not to enrich a small group of fascists. So I do think that it has to happen. But at the same time, like, wealth has to be redistributed. So taking 10% now, is one of those things where when the new government comes into power, there is reparations to be paid. And I do think that people will need to be bailed out. We will need to help the average working American because they will have been totally fucked by these people. Which is why it's so important that we're all engaged and aware, because you need to know what you're owed. You need to know what to ask for so that the new government doesn't come in and say, like, yeah, if you didn't pay your taxes because you didn't want to fund concentration camps, the IRS needs to basically, waive your fucking increase interest on that so you can pay reasonable taxes. Like the government can't ever be the same. And that's a really important point here is like, it needs to be like major restructuring, major redistribution of capital. And, at least if we get, recall elections on every single official in Congress, presidency, everything needs to be recallable. Supreme Court justices, we just need accountability. So I don't know. I feel like that is not possible in the current privatized system, but a good way to keep them accountable now is to accelerate and hasten the loss of their wealth, so that they eventually are going to have to, they'll get crazier and crazier and do dumber and dumber things. And eventually they will run out of rope. Like Elon Musk had one company left. It was SpaceX. He does not want to rope all of his companies under one banner. This is not what he wants to do. This is not like his grand plan. His grand plan was to have all of these companies and all of this wealth, and all of them were going to make a ton of money, and he was going to rule the world. And that's definitely not happening anymore. This is like him pulling out his last stop, I think.
Yeah. And we don't need to give, Jack, great comment. Quit giving these petulant children an allowance. That's what this is. We are giving them an allowance, and it has to be a coordinated effort. People have said it in the chat, and it's also something that we keep talking about. This takes coordination.
Yeah.
Look at what was happening in Albania and the protests that are going on there to stop the Kushners from building a new Epstein Island or whatever the fuck they're going to build there.
They just on
protected land too. From what I know is in Albania, that's protected land. And they want to tear it down and build a new island for resort, which, I mean, Little St. James would have been considered Epstein's resort too. And they're all the same. Just the Epstein network didn't die. It just changed names to Trump and Kushner because they were always involved anyways. They just aren't the front name for it. Epstein was the front big name for it, but he's not what we need to talk about today. Anyway, but it's the same thing though. Like Elon Musk, and I guess we will talk about Epstein for a second because all of these men, except maybe Bezos, I haven't looked him up at all in it, but I do know that Musk, Thiel, and Zuckerberg are all in the Epstein files.
Correct.
Elon was asked to use his solar city, which went under because he's not a good business owner. He just knows how to bully people into thinking he is. His solar business went under, but during that time, Solar City was asked to put solar panels on Little St. James, on Epstein's Island, and he was going to do it. Yeah. Thiel was brought into the network, and all of them were brought in after Epstein was outed as a pedophile. So they knew what he was. They knew who he was. They knew that he had the connections they wanted, and they wanted in. Whether they participated or not, I don't know. I can't say. I haven't seen. If there's evidence of it, they need to be prosecuted for it. And aiding and abetting a pedophile by, offering to build solar panels on his island so that he doesn't have to pay for electricity and he can be more pedophile and gross, that's a crime too.
Yeah.
And we should treat those as crimes, and we should punish them for these crimes. And there should be no statute of limitations on these crimes.
No. I mean, it is treason.
Because victims deserve justice. And this is where it loops back to us, of the robber barons robbing us all. They're doing it to us in a different way. We're all being abused right now. We are all being taken advantage of right now. We are all being gaslit right now. We are all being manipulated by the same individuals who tortured and trafficked and raped children.
The president murdered and raped children. The president.
We'll say allegedly. We'll say allegedly until he's proven in court, just so that we cannot be charged with defamation and slander. But he is an office. He is a public person. We're allowed to discuss him in full detail because his life is supposed to be public, because that's what the president is the most public official there is in our country. And we get to dig up everything. And if these alleged, and I'll say that loosely, alleged child sex crimes, child rape, because you can't have sex with a child, it's always rape. The rape of children, the trafficking of children is illegal, and it needs to be treated with the harshest of punishments that can be applied. And yes, I believe a lot of the actions that these men are doing, this group of men are doing, is treason. Is treasonous, because it is undermining the safety and security of America. It is undermining the safety and security of our citizens. It is actively hurting our citizens, and it is increasing the profile deliberately of our adversaries. And that is, by definition, aiding and abetting our adversaries. Treason.
Yeah. I mean, like Steve Witkoff.
In my opinion, this is treason.
Yeah.
In my opinion, all of this is treason. And I will say that I believe, as an opinion, until it can be proven as fact, that this is treason. But we need to talk about them in this way. We need to talk about them as doing treasonous things, because treason doesn't come out of nowhere. It comes out of us repeating it until people get it in their head that that's what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. And on the record, it is also my opinion that everything being done is treason. And I personally believe that anyone who voted for the OBB also committed treason and should be jailed for treason at the very least. I think that sentences should vary. I don't think everyone is deserving per se of the ultimate sentence for treason against the United States. Certainly some of these people are. But it is my opinion that this, particularly the OBB, has killed or stripped Americans, millions of them, of essential things that they need. It allowed for fascists and a fascist militia to be formed under DHS. It allowed for the destruction of essential services. It allowed for deregulation of our climate. It was literally the bill to kill the United States government. And if you voted for it, I think that you should face consequences, because I believe, it is my opinion, that that is treason, personally.
Yes. And we have to talk about it. We have to continue to say those things.
Yeah.
In our opinions, what is going on is treason. The act of robbing the entire nation of its wealth while dismantling its social services to kill citizens is aiding and abetting our adversaries. And in my opinion, as a non-legal entity, as just my opinion, not as a lawyer, because I'm not in any of those stands, as my opinion, it is treason. And we have to talk about it, because treason starts in Congress. The sentence for treason starts in Congress. And not as a juror, just as an opinion. I'm an opinionated asshole. And this opinion says that they are treasonous. They are doing treasonous acts. And Congress has to be the first ones to label it as treason, because that is what the Constitution says. And I believe that the Constitution is a valid working document that we should follow and fix and amend and update so that it is for modern times. But Congress has to be the ones who start that. That is Congress's job. That is the legislature's job to say that someone is treasonous.
Yeah.
They have to do that. From there, you can charge them further. But from a congressional standpoint, from a political governmental standpoint, which puts a very different set of laws and consequences on someone, because the consequence for treason is very, very, very severe.
Yes, it is.
There's like one punishment. It is the death penalty.
Yeah.
Treason is treated by death. Because
murder
you are murdering and dismantling America. And in my opinion, that is the type of thing we need to be discussing actively, because our rights have been violated and they have destroyed and are actively destroying the systems so that they can make money, make our adversaries stronger, and make themselves new leaders. They are trying to impose a new governmental system on top of the Constitution, in my opinion. They are doing a second confederacy, a new confederacy on top of the Constitution, in my opinion, as techno-oligarchs. They want to regionalize the Americas, not just the states. They want to regionalize and own the Americas. That was what I was going to get to earlier on why Thiel is leaving.
Yeah.
He wants to regionalize South America. He wants to be the one that gets to own Argentina. He wants to be the one who gets to own South America. And so that's why he's moved. That is possibly one of the reasons he's moving down there, in my opinion.
He moved his husband down there, Matt Dane Zeisen, and his kids.
Mm-hmm. And we won't talk about the kids because kids are off limits. We don't ever talk about kids. We are not those people.
I won't name them. I just think it's
We won't name them, yes. But it's important to say that he brought his entire family to Argentina, and he has expatted himself from the United States. A person who owns the entire surveillance apparatus for the United States no longer lives here.
That's insane.
That's scary as shit.
He met with the president and his cabinet on arrival. No one should be so rich they show up in a country and the fucking president and his cabinet's like, come on in. Let's sit down and discuss. Like, that is you know what I will say is the people of Argentina, I think he is seriously underestimating how much they fucking hate him. I mean, it's pretty crazy to me. Argentina has like so many revolutions. It is not necessarily safe right now. They hate Milei. And in the United States, people here are pretty, severe reaction averse. That is not necessarily the case there. People are willing to take actions for their independence that we would consider unsavory here in the United States.
Which is odd because our country started by the revolution. We have mythologized in America the act of rebellion and rebellion against taxation without representation, which is what is going on right now, in my opinion, is we are being taxed without representation. My representative doesn't represent me. He doesn't answer to me. He answers to the donors. And that's who they are. We are being taxed without representation. Our country is founded on revolution. And it's okay that we talk about it. Revolutions don't have to be bloody. And in fact, the most powerful revolutions will be those that are the most peaceful for the longest possible, because that gathers the will of the people. That gathers the will of us because we're right. We don't need to be violent to be right, but we can be strong. We can stand for our rights and defend them and be on offense for them without violence. That's the thing.
So impressive if we pull off a revolution without violence. Do you know how impressive that would be? I have not seen a single nonviolent revolution occur in my entire time covering geopolitics, and I have seen quite a few revolutions.
Yeah, and what you're saying is true. Is a lot of other countries are very revolutionary right now. Mm-hmm. Nepal, a lot of South American nations are on the verge because we are all seeing the corruption. And yeah, you're right. There is this idea in America right now, and I think it's because we've been indoctrinated to believe it, is that we have to be risk averse or revolution averse because we need to stay the way we are. We're
We're
good
already
enough
free.
as we are. We are the
Free.
freest in the world. We're the best.
So free.
We're the most exceptional. We are manifest destiny come to life. We are the bomb, the shit, the bee's knees, whatever the fuck you want to say. We're the best of the best. We're making America great. No, we've stagnated as a nation. We've regressed as a nation, and we refuse to admit it, in my opinion. And to get past that, we have to think revolutionary. And again, revolution does not mean violence. Those are not equal. There's no, in programming, where there would be 2 or 3 equal signs back to back that's saying strictly equal to, exactly by bit by tiny little computer byte. No, they are not strictly equal in any way.
Yeah.
And yes, there is a lot of violent revolution. We need to prove that nonviolent revolution can happen. And to do that, we can go back to maybe we can go back to our ideas earlier of maybe it's time to divest your money from this stock market and protect your financial assets so they are yours and not somebody else's being traded at their whims to companies that you don't want to be associated with.
Yeah. Yep.
And it will hurt them. It will hurt them. It will hurt Palantir. It will hurt SpaceX. It will hurt X. It'll hurt Grok. It'll hurt Bezos and the Amazon. And I know he's not actively Amazon anymore. He still owns plenty of it. It will hurt the Zuckerbergs. And that is okay. That is why they put out the memos on NSPM 7, so that they could consider what we are talking about as economic terrorism, which it is not.
No.
I am not terrorizing a rich asshole who has so much money they couldn't spend it in 1,000 lifetimes. That is not terrorism. Terrorism is taking away food security, taking away health security, taking away livelihoods, arresting and shooting people on the street with masked armed thugs. That is terrorism.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they're responsible for it. And these men are responsible for it.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah. And you know,
I'll keep adding that at every sentence if we need to.
I
know it's probably a little annoying, folks, that I keep saying in my opinion, but in my opinion.
Yeah, well, why don't you just go like, you know, IMO. IMO.
Yeah.
IMO.
IMO. But anyway, carrying on with this carrying on with this though is I think it is we have to talk about it this way, but also we need to evaluate why these people think that they have the right to this kind of money or to these kind of assets and these kind of self-dealing and purchasing. Because a year and a half ago, Elon Musk was under investigation by the FEC or FCC. And he no longer is. He went into Doge and terrorized our nation and others in Africa, and so specifically because that's where a lot of our aid was going to. And he's continuing that.
Yeah.
IMO.
Yeah. Well, we've lost, I think, a lot of it too, as these people capture more and more. We've lost a lot of the things that made America really awesome. Like our technological advantage, our innovation, our education system. It is essential if you are going to try and ideologically indoctrinate and control, that you dismantle and destroy those institutions, replace them with your propaganda. That doesn't, you know, and I just think, a couple comments here, they take and take even more, only taking. And, the thing is, and I feel like I've said this before, but if they had just stopped, like, I don't know, 2 miles shorter on the road, people would have taken it. People would have just taken it because America had already done so much work. The government, the PACs, everyone had done so much work to inundate us to this kind of behavior, but instead it's greed. And you know, a great deal has been you know, lost. This guy's dropping off my groceries. But you know, a great deal has been lost in this and kind of where we are. And there is it's a shame. It's a shame because education is what pushes forward and innovates. I'm not saying that, like, I think that college is too expensive. I think everyone should get free college. Could we pay for that? Fuck yeah, we could. I think everyone should have a house.
Yeah, we just sent all the money that could have paid for that to Iran.
Yeah.
Or we're going to, because
Yeah, well, you know,
we
if you
bombed them
bribe
for no
them,
fucking reason, and now we're paying them for it.
yeah, you know, I mean, Iran, all of that, and you know, in short,
That's going to be its own episode.
it's got to be its own thing. But you know, I have my reservations, to say the least. But it is so ridiculous. And then they blow up all that stuff, and then they say we're going to commit, you know, $100 billion, you know, $500 billion to missiles from these same defense contractors that can't deliver any results until 2030. Like they just are. It's just like they're burning cash. And they're doing it. I don't know for what. A lot of it, I think, is the illusion. Like that's what Elon Musk is doing, right? Like it's the illusion of capital. It's like consolidating and buying the debt of other companies, by companies that are more profitable. But when you do that, you're eating up your margin. And the less and less, like all the things that they need to make these rockets, and SpaceX needs to launch these satellites and all these things, they require the same materials that the weapons require, that the other imports require, that they have done such a good job in destroying those trade relationships. We're going to destroy our relationship between Mexico and Canada now, the one Trump signed, apparently. And so like it is suicide in a sense, that they are doing what they're doing. It doesn't really make any sense, other than they're band-aiding. They have no ability to project forward or foresight. It's like, what can I do to bail myself out today, at whatever the cost may be of people that are going to suffer because of it, I think.
Yeah, and looking at our notes around what's going on here is I want to ask you for your opinion on this,
Sure.
of the XAI, and what do you think the long-term goal is with integrating it as a company into SpaceX? Do you believe that it was only for this merger, basically to eat the cost and make themselves seem more than they are? Or do you have any thoughts on what they actually want to do with this technology as part of SpaceX?
I personally believe that this is a capital thing. I think that their AI sucks. I think that they have fallen so far behind everyone else in this race, because of the way Elon has to be so involved with his own AI, that he gets to like go into like I don't know what an actual AI room looks like where they keep the AI. It's like in my mind, it's definitely not this way, but it's kind of like Star Wars or like Warhammer, where you go in a big room and there's like a central terminal and they're like, "Hello, Grok. Hello, Elon. I've been thinking about Mein Kampf. I like it a lot." You know, like I don't know, but like he got access to that and he did shit to it. And that's not what you do in R&D. You don't just pull up your core model and tell it, you know, to do things. I think that Elon Musk is really dumb. And I think that he is the person who is in the right place at the right time with money over and over and over again. In America, enabled that kind of behavior. But I don't see SpaceX or Grok in general doing much of anything. No one is going to pick Grok. If you're sitting there and you're a coder or you're someone who uses AI for research or things like that, even the new companies' models are surpassing what Grok is capable of. And it's because, for me, I think Elon Musk has been in trouble for over a year, really, since the Tesla takedown. And he's doing what I would expect someone to do who had a lot of assets and can just eat their problems by merging and consolidating until, he's going to run out of rope. Like they even with their fake ass numbers that are just decoupled from reality, right? Like he still is going to hit a wall. And it's all of these things. It's if the world had stayed exactly the same as 2025 when they took office, nothing changed. I think they would be absolutely balling, okay, to say the least. I think that they would be doing really well. I think all the data centers would be built. I think we'd be living under mass surveillance, and it would be really horrible. But we're not there. It's still horrible, but it's horrible in a different way because they are trying to do things and just failing because of cronyism. I think there's too much cronyism in these companies, in the markets. This is what I would expect a crony to do, to cover their ass.
Yes, it's all nepotism. It's all cronyism. The fact that they all own the same companies or are very close with each other on the same companies, like, it's very blatantly obvious. And I think people are finally waking up to it. And I see on our Substack side, we keep coming in and out on the live. Apologize about that, friends. I'll make sure also our full video is up on soon after. I'll download this one and upload it to the to our broadbander, so it has the full intro as well, because we missed the first part. I think there's I think the AI aspect for him, in terms of like SpaceX, aside from the capital piece, is to streamline and reduce his workforce. Not streamline, remove his workforce. Sorry, that's a better statement. He wants to remove his workforce. And because they talked about this like 10, 15 years ago when AI really got first started being like this investigation, when they talked about it, was Elon and this group, and some of them were at one point used to talk about a universal basic income and that it would be needed once AI was implemented. Yet they never speak about that anymore. They never talk about it because it's not about us in any ways. It's only about them. And so they're going to use, I think he's going to use it also as an opportunity to diminish his workforce even further and fire more people.
Yeah. No one's going to come back and work for him when their AI goes under, when they are, when everything falls apart. And what's going to happen is the markets are going to have a ton of opportunity, as things do when things fall apart. My hope is that we are smart enough to change our governance models so that we do not allow this mass monopoly. But people are not going to go back and work for Elon Musk after he robbed them blind and fired them so he could replace them with his AI. There will come a point where suddenly these companies, it's too expensive to compute. Crypto, they don't like to talk about it, but all their crypto plans are going in the hole because the amount of energy it takes to mine a crypto is now more expensive than the coin. And there was a whole time in Zaporizhia in Ukraine where they were trying to make deals with Putin to mine crypto in Ukraine. They occupied nuclear facility that belonged to Ukraine on sovereign Ukrainian soil. I mean, they're not doing well. Like, if you're looking just in America, it's kind of you're seeing issues there. But even everything they're trying to do around the world isn't going well either. It's a failure, externally as well as domestically. It's the same, like Europe is suing XAI, right? Like we talked about earlier, right? That want to be operating in foreign countries. It makes them money. So if they lose that market, that's going to hurt them too. When the world likes America, there's a lot of money to be made. But when the world doesn't like you, I don't know, Iran, and you have sanctions, or people just don't want to do business with you, Russia, it really hurts your economy. And this is it all goes together because the capital class is now the government. So they've tied themselves, and the success of America is tied to their personal wealth, which is really backwards. But it is reality at this time.
Yeah. And we're back to the robber baron blind. The thing is, I think the capital class has always controlled politics in America. It's just now very obvious that they control it, because Citizens United over the years has turned into a beast that is unacceptable in any way, shape, or form, and it has purchased the capital system of our politics. We have lobbying, which is legalized corruption and buying politics. We've just never wanted to admit it. And I think now, because this corruption is so blatant and so obvious, we can talk about it without politics. These people are robbing all of us. These data centers that they want to build will kill our families, will poison our friends, will increase the climate catastrophe and disaster that is going on right now. If you're watching weather in the middle of the States right now, it sucks. But when was like Erie, Pennsylvania, and ever need tornado warnings? When do places on the Great Lakes tornado warnings? Why was Chicago? Why does the rural area of Chicago around there had a tornado warning? Like, big active storms are hitting in places that they weren't before. The tornado alley is shifting and expanding, and people aren't prepared for it. And the disaster that is coming because of it, because we don't have people who are willing to do the jobs in Congress. And again, this comes back to, we need a Congress that is going to and make them more afraid that they're going to lose their jobs than they are of making money.
Yeah. And when people say like, oh dude, like, this is all, it's all screwed, the climate, okay, there's a couple things, if you don't know, if you're on the West Coast, if you're in, Southwest, you do need to be prepared. Mexico, you need to be prepared. There's a super El Nino coming. And when I say super, that doesn't even do it credit. Like a normal super El Nino is like 3 degrees over average. We're at like 8. That they've never seen, anything in modern history. The last time this happened, it was a famine that killed 50 million something people. Like, this is real. This is real. Regardless of whether the government wants to acknowledge it or not, it's going to come. It's going to affect you. And you should be operating in mind with the fact that these things are going to happen. I wear a lot of hats. One of them is I'm very interested in weather, in meteorology, in storms. And these are real changing things. They're dynamic. The planet is not static. The planet changes in big ways. And one small tipping point will change everything. We're past one small tipping point, folks. We've got lots of tipping points coming. So We want to make sure that we are say where there's catastrophe, there's also opportunity of jobs. If this country was doing the right thing, we would be investing hundreds of billions, trillions of dollars into the infrastructure we need to really prepare in change and our communities, our people, for the inevitable climate change brought on by the capital class, who has decided to do this to us, billions of dollars to oppress science and to out advertise the people ringing the bell. There's crazy going the sun right now. And I'm not saying this to you, like, you've got to live your life. Okay. Like, I'm going to tell you these things, but you need to live your life. You can't just like throw up your hands and be like, the world's going to end. That's so, you need to live your life. There's things we can't control. We can be prepared for them, and we should be. We can take actions to mitigate them and improve our ability. But to do that, we need to get rid of people like Elon Musk, who are hoarding money that is needed to go into programs like, I don't know, building seawalls or investing in our natural environment that already naturally has these kind of breaks for flooding. If we still had all those mangroves in a lot of these places, Florida, Louisiana, kind of that area, they would see a lot less flooding because it was a natural deterrent that grew up over time. We have lots of solutions that makes lots of jobs. It makes lots of opportunities. And we need to be dynamic and flexible. And instead, they are keeping us rigidly in this robber baron extraction system where we're not able to effectively react. And that needs to be, I do think that we need to ask representatives in Congress and people running for office. This should be a question they can answer. And if they can't, I don't believe that their answer should either be, I'm not, but I will go and learn and get back to you, because their constituents' lives depend on them advocating for their safety and the preparation in the environment, because it is going to change. So I think that's a question. If you're not asking your representative, it is a must, particularly if you're in the Southeast. You need to understand the climate. You need to understand the science. It's part of being civically responsible. If you're going to represent people, you need to be informed enough to know about all of the things that are going to impact them. And that does include climate change. That includes not change. I call it climate collapse, because we are past change. But, I know it's a bit of a tangent, but I think it's important as we're talking about these things to realize that there is a civil responsibility for people in government to be aware of those things and be prepared to take action and have a plan.
Agreed. Yeah, we definitely do. And it's not a thing of we're naysaying. It's you have to be prepared and understand. And this is where, again, good governance could actually do something for us.
Oh, absolutely.
And will actually do something, not could, will actually do something for us. Real governance will change this. And that takes political capital and courage. And yeah, one of those things that we have to do is stand together and have actionable items and actionable things to do. If you follow your weirdo friend, go read their copy of the Daisy Chain. Go read the Daisy Chain and what's going on. That is a local thing that you can do for action. Those are actionable steps that you can do to make your community better, to make you and your community safer, to create a stronger community, to grow your community, and without you really knowing it, to grow a democracy, without you even really trying, because democracy is an extension of community, is community at scale. Fascism is abuse at scale. Community and democracy go hand in hand. Fascism and abuse go hand in hand. The Daisy Chain is an action item, is a set of action items that you can take to make your life and those around you better, and a better community. Those are steps we can take. Another actionable step, again, in my opinion, and not as a financial advisor, is be aware of where your money is in a 401k, in a 401(b), or whatever it is you have for retirement fund. Be aware where your money is. Be aware what it is invested in. You have the option too of targeting investments. It may take some time if you have to, but it's worth it to go through your 401k and say, I don't want to invest in this. I'm purposely going to choose this. And if there are no options that you like, because all of the options include funding fascism, you have the option to remove that money from the system. There's a penalty for it, yes. And again, not a financial advisor. I did it, but that was a personal decision. I chose to take out my 401k on a personal decision because I did not want my money being invested in fascism. Divest from fascism. That is an action item that you can do, because then you can reinvest that money locally and into yourself. And if you don't have one that can be drawn on, then you don't have to worry about investing in fascism right now, because your 401k is non-existent. And I'm sorry, because we should have pensions. We should have retirement. We should have the ability to retire in this country, because being a human is not just about working.
Yeah.
There's a human condition that we all get to live, and that is not just be a worker drone and be a slave.
Yeah. It's basic human rights. You should be able to eat. You should be able to have shelter. You should have access to clean water. And you should you should be able to move freely and safely. Those are things that I consider to be the foundation of a successful society. By those metrics, we have failed. So that is something that we need to consider. Is if you look at the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, okay, the foundational document where the world agreed that this is what people should have, and then you look at what America is claiming to be and then what it actually is, there's no argument, in my opinion, that America is honoring the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. That I actually would say go farther, in my opinion, and say that it is actively normalizing the violation of those rights and justifying the means of oppression, redefining that as freedom. That's how I feel about it. I think a lot of people also feel that way, but rules are pretty simple to me.
God damn it, I muted myself. You're spot on that. And it's the thing is, we have to be courageous enough to follow those rules. They're simple. They're very straightforward rules. Sometimes basic rules, though, do take courage to enforce. And that courage is finding those actions that we can take and doing things like the daisy chain and building our local communities, or protecting our financial security and reinvesting it in ourselves and our communities. If you're able to, if that's something you can do, you should. It's standing up at work. And if you're in a big tech company and again, I've said this before, if you're in a tech company, especially, and you're in a position of leadership in a dev division or a ops division or a business planning division that creates the long-term strategies, you need to step the fuck up and say something at work, because courage is what gets us through this. Because you probably won't get fired for saying it, because there are more of us than there are of them. There are more people who believe in freedom, in equality and equity and common sense, decency, values than there are that don't. The thing is, the ones that don't are loud as fuck, and they let us know it. Stop being afraid to be as loud as fuck and letting people know that you are a patriot. that you believe in the ideals of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that you believe liberty and justice for all, not the few, not the rich, not the some, all, and that all people have unalienable rights that need to be written the fuck down finally, because we can't just say unalienable rights because that doesn't mean anything. We actually need to write down what those unalienable rights actually fucking are. And one of those is basic dignity.
Can we just adopt the Universal Declaration of Human Rights? Can we just
take
it verbatim and just stick it in the Constitution? Is that really that hard to do? We don't even need to write
probably
it.
Not.
It's written. It's literally written. We could just adopt it. It's universal. Like
part of that universal human idea of human dignity is trillionaires should not exist. Multi-billionaires, single-digit billionaires should not exist. Millionaires, I get it at this point because the amount of economic growth and money that is in the world, sure, I get it. And the fact that we have billionaires and trillionaires means that the system is broken. It's working as it's intended for capitalism in unfettered capitalism. But we are not an unfettered capitalistic society. We are a market, like a semi-socialized system. And in a lot of ways, we're a very socialized system if you're rich. If you've stolen all the wealth and accumulated it, you're in the biggest socialized system in the world. You cannot earn $1 trillion. You can steal $1 trillion. You can't earn $1 trillion. You can oppress wages and make people slaves to you to make $1 trillion. But you cannot physically make that yourself. There's no way. It's not a real amount of money either. It is a real number, but it's not a real amount of money. And like we started with the talk about all of this, is Elon doesn't have $1 trillion.
No.
He doesn't have $1 trillion in physical assets. He has a bunch of money that moves around between businesses and businesses that we as a collective have said are worth this much because we are unwilling to make hard sacrifices as individuals and as a community in this nation to help each other. And I am asking people when I say things like take your 401k out, that is a sacrifice. That's a sacrifice that I'm asking that you be willing to also do. I've already done it. I can't do it again. I ain't got no more retirement fund.
I'll do it. I've got it sitting there, especially after the SpaceX thing. 10% to stop funding fascism.
You guys are the reason I can afford stuff on top of things. Like, I don't make very much money. I have disability and I have the Substack income. And I don't make a lot. Like, I'm lucky right now. And I thank all of you for being a part of this with us. And like, that's part of the growth, is getting off of these old systems. Tax wealth and not work. You tax the wealth and not the work. You tax the wealth. We divest from fascism by reclaiming our wealth too. We have to reclaim our wealth. And that's hard and it's scary. And it will cost a 10% fee if you take out your 401k early. But it's a sacrifice we have to start being willing to make. As Americans, we have to stop being so selfish. And yes, that's a harsh thing to say to people, especially in a time when it feels like everything is against us and you're trying to give. But if you're just sitting there and you're not actually doing the steps to divest from fascism, you're not actually doing it. So divest from fascism. Find local systems to invest in. Find local community to invest in. They need it more.
Yeah.
Be the change that you want to see in your community.
Yeah.
Be that change.
If you sell now, think of it this way. Whatever you're working towards will hopefully restore that wealth, because in the status quo, you're just going to keep losing, right? So if things change, and one of the reasons other countries have it easier is they don't have anything left to lose. Well, that's not the same for a lot of people here. And the fear of loss is hard, but remember that all things take courage, and courage is doing the right thing in spite of that discomfort and that fear. So,
and yes, there is a tax that you would have to pay on taking your 401k out. I know, I've paid it. And yes, that will reinvest back into the US and back into the system right now. Would you rather that 10% stay there or 100%?
Yeah.
Would you rather 100% of your retirement fund fascism? If you have one, would you rather 100% of it fund fascism or just the 10% that they're forcing you to pay?
Yeah.
And that money can be returned too in the end, because that's what we're gearing for. That's what we are. That's what I want to see is restitution. There will be restitution at the end of this for all of us.
Yeah.
That hopefully, and the goal for that restitution is I don't want them to just send me checks. I don't want the government to just send everybody blank checks. I want healthcare. I want housing. I want
action.
Food. I want real action that changes our society for the better. That's what reinvestment means to me. That's what it means to me to have a restorative action be taken, is that money gets reinvested smartly. And yeah, there's a lot of stuff we're going to have to work on to get to that smart, and a lot of trust that needs to be built to get there. But we need to be willing to divest from fascism. And yes, they're going to take 10% if you have a 401k or something like that. But would you rather it be a one-time, or that they can just keep reinvesting 100% of your money over and over and over again into different pieces of fascism? That's the question now, is divest from fascism or pay for fascism?
Yeah. And that's how it's going to be. I like to say that, yeah, I think things, if you push the right direction, things will get better for you. Things will change. And it's better to take a risk, in my opinion, to take a risk on a future where you can find success, than to double down in a current where you are doomed to fail. So IMO, DFF, and I would say let's go ahead and promote Banner and Backbone.
Let's go promote ourselves. We've reached our hour and a half here. Shane, I'll let you take it for a second.
Guys, Banner and Backbone brings you this show. It brings you a ton of other great content, Anti-Fascist Book Club among them. There's just so much good content on here. Nick has put a ton of work into Banner and Backbone, and he continues to do so. So, I would say if you want to support people who are practicing and encouraging DFF, right? We're divesting from fascism, not just monetarily, culturally, right? We're divesting from fascism. We're rejecting it. And that's what Banner and Backbone has always been since the very beginning. And Nick sharing with me what his intent was for this program in this channel, this publication. It has done nothing but live up to that intent. So I encourage you to support it. It's worth the subscribe to help Banner and Backbone continue to succeed.
And all of our content is free here. All of Banner and Backbone's content is free. We do not put anything behind paywall, because knowledge is power, and then applied knowledge is true power. Knowledge is the first step, but applying that knowledge is true power. And so we'd rather give our opinions. We give opinions here, and we we base things in numbers. We do look at the numbers. We do give facts and information. And we will be very clear when those are fact-based statements and opinion-based, like we have been throughout all of this. And so please come support us here. Come support Banner and Backbone, and the growth that we are continuing to see, and the tools that I'm working on in the background, again, to continue to help build this network, but also build networks like Shane and the Firebrand Project and all of the hard work he does, and the incredible research and reporting that he does, and the friendship that I've been able to make with him. He's a good person. He's a great guy. I love being able to talk with Shane on our shows and for Palantalk. And I highly encourage all of you to support him and subscribe with him. So Shane, you want to talk about yourself at all?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like, I am so committed to giving you guys the source. I cannot even begin to explain how important I think it is that you back up your commentary with data. In my mind, there's really no excuse because it's all there, folks. It's all out there. And that's what I think I'm going to continue to try and do. I'm trying to answer questions. I'm trying to expand people's understanding. And I'm going to be continuing to do that. Please come over, check out my work, my briefs, where I give you guys all kinds of information to help you guys kind of structure and understand, as well as kind of process some questions in each brief to kind of expand your thinking and whatnot. So any help you guys can give in that regard is very helpful. Obviously, everyone's having a hard time, so never give if you can't afford it. And I never want you to sacrifice so that, yourself. So before helping me or anybody else. But if you do have a little bit to support, $6 a month, or you can always go and donate to the Buy Me a Coffee. You can find that link in any article on my profile, anything like that. It's a great way to help me out. And I hope to see you guys, engaging on these posts, and please ask questions. Let me know what you guys want to see. So I'll be putting out a poll today. Try that on what area of the world, if things maybe slow down, you guys want to hear about. So keep an eye out for that post as well. But that's what I got for you guys.
Love it. Thanks, brother. I appreciate you. So glad you're here. So glad we do these things. So again, support my friend Shane. Support him in all the hard work he's doing.
Thank you. Guys, let me talk up Nick real quick because, I do it every time, but this guy's an absolute beast. He's been given 100% as long as I've known him. I remember the first time I talked to Nick, and ever since we have been working on this show together. We have been working together and growing as creators. But Nick has done something really remarkable, and he's managed to build Banner and Backbone. For quite some time. He has really built out this cultural side where if you're just watching this for news, there's more to discuss in terms of kind of, divesting from fascism. And there's a huge part of that Sick of This Shit publications covers, and it's that cultural aspect. So guys, support Nick, make sure that he is taken care of as best we can, because he's doing the work that a lot of people are pretty uncomfortable doing. But needs to be done equally as much as, rejecting the capital class.
Thanks, brother. I really appreciate you. Yeah, come support me. We're doing a better. What it really is Sick of This Shit Publications is a better humaning project. I've made space for myself for my chronic illness, and I've worked to build a community around it. And I think we have. I think we've built an incredible community around those of us with chronic disabilities and those of us who are exploring and learning about them, and how we can be allies and participants in bettering each other's lives. And I do the Intelligent Masculinity series, which may be rebranded eventually to the Better Humaning Project itself, but it is a better humaning project. That's what we're doing, is we're trying to recapture the cultural side, because culture is upstream from politics. Culture is what drives America.
Hey, it's okay.
Yeah, he agrees.
Yes, he does. It's okay.
He agrees. And what culture does for us is we don't have to ask these questions anymore. We don't have to keep asking this question of, why do we have a billionaire? Why do we have trillionaires? Why is all our money gone? We don't have to keep asking those basic questions when we shift the culture and win. Because we've been indoctrinated to believe that the system that we have is the peak of humanity and the peak of performance and the peak of whatever alpha masculinity and soft girl, trad wife, whatever femininity. Like, those are not the peaks. That is not the peak of humanity.
It's the valley.
That's the valley. That's like below the valley. That like makes the Mariana Trench look shallow. Like, we have gone to the core. You remember the movie The Core? We've done that, where they burrowed into the core of the earth.
No Dwayne.
That's what they're doing.
No Dwayne.
We're trying to. I want to stop that. That's what I want to do with Sick of This Shit Publications, and I hope you guys join me there. We're also building some really cool tools. I'm still building some really cool tools, and I have some like, Shane, you're going to love the updates that I've been doing. And if y'all have been noticing my posting, if you're on other platforms too outside of Substack for posting, you'll start to see all of the content that I do is coming out really well. We do cross posting now across 4 platforms for video posting. Well, 6 platforms, but 4 of them automatically we do with our internal tools and support tools, which are becoming available here very soon for some beta testing and some open testing for those around us, so that we can build a space that is ours. Yeah. It's also going to include its own feed, so you can get all of your favorite creators who onboard with the tool in a single place, in a timeline-based feed, without some weird-ass algorithm telling you that this content is more important than others. So look out for that as Broad Banner continues to improve in the background, and I will be doing some really cool announcements here soon. When I say soon, give us about a month is a soon time frame for some of the really
don't set deadlines for yourself. Just do your best.
No, this is one that we really want to hit, like roughly a month. We want to start getting more, other than just like our friends who are creators right now. Like, so many of you, I think, would love this. I think we'll all love it, because it frees us too from these big capital folks. Like, divest from fascism. Support us. Support small businesses. Support your local teams. Support your friends. Support those who you think are worth it. And if you think Sick of This Shit Publications is worth it, if you think the Firebrand Project is worth it, and if you think Banner and Backbone is worth it, subscribe to all 3. Free, paid, doesn't matter. But if you can support financially, please do. We appreciate all of you. And yeah, Irene, there's some really cool stuff that's going to be coming out. Keep an eye out. We've got some, I have been very busy on website development and refactors and tooling builds, and it looks so cool. Like, the tooling feels so good right now, and it's going to increase all of our reach, and it's going to increase all of our presence, and it's going to give us our own space. So thanks, everyone. Thanks for being with us here for today's Palantalk. This has been another great discussion, a little bit longer. As always, we like to ramble here on Palantalk. It's been a great discussion, great talk. Thank you again, everyone in the community and in the chat who's with us, to all of you who are on Substack, who are our primary audience. We love you. I appreciate all of you for being here consistently for 42 episodes plus now, I think, or something like that.
Oh, cool.
We're coming on a year now. Shane and I will be coming on a year of this show together very soon. So thank you all for being here and being supporters of us, because here at Palantalk, we like to talk tech.
No fascism.
Thanks, y'all. Have a great one.
Go out and make sure you tell somebody that Elon Musk sucks and he's a testicle. That's your mission for today. That's how you
That's
save
your mission.
democracy, one roast at a time.
One testicular roast at a time.
That's right. Thank
Roast
you
a
guys.
taint at a time.
Thank you.
Roast a taint and you'll be okay.
See you later.
Thanks, y'all. Have a great one.